know, Dr. Chaudhary, I would think sometimes that the Muslim faith is unfortunately taken in a negative instance, and people want to tie it with terrorism. And as a result of that, perhaps sometimes you have to work harder to help people to understand that in your faith it is very peaceful, and that tie should definitely not be there. But it's helping to get rid of that misconception that I'm sure you have to work with every day.
Well, you know, it's kind of interesting that you bring it up for us to focus on. If you look at how the recent activities which would happen, you know, with Timothy McVeigh, when nobody talked about his religion. This gentleman, you know, and I still continued, I have compassion for everyone who had gone off and hurt so many lives. I've not heard anybody talk about, you know, which religious belongings he was. But the point of it is, religion itself is neither good or bad. Religion is a way of living a spiritual life as is chosen by an individual. Having said that, Muslims are no different than any other religion, and then unfortunately the politics of Middle East affects the thinking of many over here, and then, which is not the same thing as a religious affair. It's the politics of a local region. So with that in background, I think the Muslim religion itself is a continuity of a religious order which has been there from as for long as the humankind knows. It's just a different expression of how we practice our meditation, our belongings, and our thankfulness to God. But the millions of Muslims who function as an integral part of society in science, religion, culture, and so forth, that often gets overlooked, unfortunately.
It does, and unfortunately it is overlooked, and it is misconceived, and particularly in certain portions of you know, the American society it is, and that tie, as I said earlier, you know, having a Muslim faith and terrorism somehow gets mixed together, and it really shouldn't be. And part of today's discussion is helping to get rid of those myths and understand that the two do not belong together.
Now, the problem here is mostly what I see is that most of the time people really don't know their own religion, and to understand the religion of others, you have to understand yours first. When you don't have a depth of understanding of any book, for example, you're reading a religious book. I'm a physician, and up till now I'm reading so that I don't forget. So how can we start talking about any other religion or book which we haven't read? And I think that is a problem: lack of education and lack of awareness of each other religion.
Well, lack of knowledge, certainly.
Lack of knowledge,
and
exactly.
Ignorance that people will just say whatever comes to mind and not have a true understanding.
Right.
On the other hand, I think one should not miss the point that United States offers beautiful capacity, and it really does. Even this dialogue as we are having today is a beautiful example of this country's openness, ability to listen, ability to integrate. So many Muslims in this country. I think we need not to look at what's not going well. I think we also need to focus on what's going well in this country. And I think it's a beautiful landscape where we truly have enjoyed being here and enjoyed the capacity of knowing so many other religions, so many other people, that we have just enlightened, we feel very enlightened.
And as it relates to the local Muslim community center, the doors are open. People can come and visit. People can come certainly and pray if in fact they are Muslim. But what's so important is that the doors are open to allow people to be educated, to allow them to come to understand. And that's a wonderful way of expressing your faith in this community.
And we are so fortunate nowadays, especially from past 4 years since I'm there as in the executive council. What I see is there is very often that different schools, different universities are bringing the children in a group to educate them regarding the Islamic religion. And also, of course, the part of their curriculum is the religion. So they are having understanding of all religions, including the Islamic religion. And we are very fortunate that we are able to discuss, we are able to talk, and give them the true picture of the religion.
And that's very good, particularly for children to learn and to understand. We started our discussion today talking about mental health and in particular looking at the actions of the shooter on the campus of Virginia Tech. And before we wrap, I do want to go back and just kind of make this full circle and talk about the work that you do here, Dr. Chaudhary, as it relates to mental health and at Pitt in the psychiatry department there, excuse me, there.
Well, it really is. I think that we are very fortunate in Pittsburgh that there are various very beautiful centers where highly dedicated individuals, staff, my teachers, my students, and all of us are working together to really bring in more harmony, peace, and compassion about mental health, and also do a lot of preventive care, via that be for addictions or via that be psychiatric disorders, and really try to tone down our judgments around those. Because it could be my mother, brothers, sisters, and others, my neighbors, who can be affected by these conditions. Nobody's immune to these.
Yeah, that's certainly the case, and you're right. They're not immune, and tolerance perhaps is the biggest key to helping to understand that. If you'd like to get more information from Dr. Chaudhary, and if you have any questions, the number's on the screen there for you, 724-468-3999. You can also visit him there at his business story on Story Road, and go out to the website for more information. We unfortunately have run out of time, but I want to thank you for being here on Impact today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
We've got more straight ahead, so stay with us.